We're gonna pop this out, just
That was a long time for him to be quiet.
you
It
know.
wasn't the smile part; it was the quiet
Well,
part.
it was both.
That got him. It
Ron's
wasn't the smile part; it was the
so
quiet part.
We're setting up. We're gonna have this is gonna be like professionally filmed YouTube today, so it's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be on the Home Team 512 on the YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel.
You know I don't have audio for that though.
He's just
Oh, unless he's gonna give it.
yeah.
Okay.
See, and we're real on the YouTubes. That's why it's like this. Okay. Whenever you're ready, boss.
Whenever you're ready, big smile. We're rolling. And big smile. And
Hello, Austin, Texas. This is Troy and Wyatt with the Home Team, and you're watching and listening us. No, I don't like that. I'm gonna have to do that again. I don't know why I said it. I'm trying. I'm trying something new. It just didn't work.
Listening to us.
Yes.
You're watching and listening to us.
Hello, Austin, Texas. You're watching and listening to Troy and Wyatt on the Home. I want to say the radio station. Okay, I got it.
You're watching and listening
Yeah,
to.
I got it.
add TV too if you can do that though.
Hello, Austin, Texas. You're listening and watching Troy and Wyatt on the Home Team, where we bring sports and money together for your education and entertainment. If you have any questions about anything we say today, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com, or you can give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, you can reach out to the Wyatt.
The Wyatt.
And he's on the Home Team 512. And this segment is brought to you by Security National Mortgage, where we turn houses into homes by financing your American dream. Hey, and don't forget to check us out on the YouTube.
The YouTube.
Yes, and that's the Home Team 512.
Everywhere.
Y'all notice the trend? The
You're
Home Team
everywhere.
512.
Yeah, I like it.
The B.
Yes.
Be everything.
So this is the segment that I like the most because
Money.
it's money, and we've talked about it. People, in my opinion, don't understand how to use money. They don't understand how to make it work for them. They don't understand the good and the bad of it. And
Well, you actually like educating people about money. Not that you love money, you love educating people about money and how to make their life better by saving it and using it to help their family and themselves.
Yeah, I think that
We're not taught those things.
right. That's exactly. I think
So,
that
it's
it's
very helpful.
hard if you're young and you come from a family that doesn't understand money. How are you supposed to learn it? We learn most everything by watching our parents. So they say that people need the advantage of the American dream, not just the house, but the entire American dream. If you don't understand how to get it, then you believe it's not there for you.
Right.
And so and that's and again, it's not your parents' fault. Nobody taught them. And so with everything going on with social media, YouTube, the radio, everything, podcasts, it's so easy now. Audible books. I mean, it's so easy to teach yourself.
Audible books is my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I read, I fall asleep at night.
Absolutely. And so, of course, we brought our superstar real estate expert, Jena Dubon with On Air Realty. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And this is, kind of a, money section right now. The most important thing that people are talking about, in my opinion, money is inflation. And we've had, inflation's actually the best it's been in, 18 months. But I think, or I feel, or what I've noticed, I guess is a better way to say that, is that people are now starting to feel the true effects of inflation.
Man, because they were spending out there. They were
Yeah.
buying jet skis and vacations. You'd see people on Facebook with all their fancy, whatever's they bought, and they're in Costa Rica this month, and you're starting to see those slow down.
Yeah, I mean, if you looked on Facebook, you would see your friends who are just an average kind of income generators. They're off on vacations everywhere, and things like that. And so now what's happening is that jobs are the bonuses, the commissions, the excess income is going away.
Layoffs, unfortunately.
So somebody's they can't even find a new job because they want to go somewhere like, well, I'm gonna go somewhere and get paid more.
Right.
Or
get paid the same.
Nobody's hiring,
Right.
and so the layoffs and stuff are in certain sectors. Real estate, obviously, mortgage, the tech industry is big, but it's not in all sectors. But the problem is that people aren't hiring. So, because if you look, the job postings are going down.
Sure.
So, we're getting this misinformation on unemployment, saying that unemployment's only, 3.9% or things like that. The problem is that the job postings are going down. So, there's actually less available jobs than before.
Right.
And so we're kind of back to that pre-pandemic level in every sector. But now all of a sudden we're about to start nosediving because of the Fed policy of raising the rates to curb inflation.
Right.
And so and people are now seeing it. They're feeling it. I noticed at spring break. We're just talking about this. I noticed at spring break that there wasn't the crowds that were there before. The lines were not quite as long. The parking lot I could park a little closer. Things like that. And so that means that the people are starting to adjust their spending habits. And so,
which we thought was going to happen right
yeah,
after Christmas.
yeah. And so, and it
Well,
probably did happen right after
and I
Christmas.
think
Yeah.
a lot of people
Yeah.
thought that it was just going to be, because we've had some inflations
Mhm.
or, in the
Well, I'm
last.
sure you could feel it. You go to the
Yeah.
grocery
Yeah,
store,
you can still go, but they didn't realize it was going to be like this. So they thought, oh, last time I saved all this money I didn't need to,
Mhm.
and they didn't realize that this time was one of the times you did.
Yes, and as of February, Americans are now digging into their savings and they're living on credit. As of February, those numbers started to inverse for the first time. So we are at the very beginning, and which is good because the Fed did just raise the rate a quarter, and they've been saying they want to get to 5.25, but they're at 5. And he did say for the first time, which the mortgage industry loved, is that he's not for sure that the continued raising is needed. This is the first time he said that he's not going to do it again for sure.
And repeat this to some of our new
Mhm.
viewers and listeners that
Mhm.
those things work different from each other.
Right. Like I said, the Fed rate it's a base rate, and it's what banks borrow from themselves and from the government. It is it is a direct correlation for things like credit cards or home equity loans and things like that. Because those are if you look at them, if you look at your agreement on there, it will say 14% over Fed.
Right.
So if the Fed's at 5, you're at 19.
Right.
And that's kind of what credit cards are at.
Okay.
Things like that. Cars, short term, those 2 to 6 year loan type things are very, very impacted by the Fed rate.
Okay.
Mortgage is not. Mortgage, even though it's tied to kind of like, you're pulling your kid through a busy area on a leash, kind of. So it kind of comes along with you, but it can go in its own direction if it really wants to. So mortgage not, but it is very, very, very closely tied to inflation. So as inflation was going up, the mortgage rates were going up because, it's a 30-year note is what a mortgage is. And so inflation eats away at that 30-year note.
Makes
That's
sense.
that's why. As inflation's come down, the mortgage rates wanted to come down, but the Fed kept raising rates and kept pushing it. So now, since the Fed has said that they're not for sure they're going to raise rates the next time, the mortgage rates have dropped 0.5%.
Okay.
Yeah, in just a couple days.
And over these last,
Mhm.
8 months, you've been seeing them where they kind of go down and then they come up and they go
Mhm.
down. So when our clients are actively looking, we're paying attention to that. When it drops and they're already
Mhm.
approved and ready to go and they've been shopping, it's much easier for them to lock in a property without this uncertainty.
And you can lock in those
Absolutely.
still right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, and, we call it the lock and shop.
Okay.
And so it's a program where you don't need a property. We just need to have you qualified, and then we can lock your interest rate, and then you have up to 90 days to go find and buy and close on a home.
And
Which
the
we
only
like.
way they can do that is they get a hold of you ahead of time and
Right.
go through all the pre-qualification.
Which is
Absolutely.
really easy.
Mm.
Okay. It
And how do
takes
you-
like 10 minutes to apply.
And so you can get onto the QR code.
Yep, you can get on this QR code right here. You can use the old-fashioned, for those 70 models. You
Right.
can do 855-299-HOME, or you can go to the website, loansfromtroy.com.
So I'm hearing that the interest rates are already coming down. It's a
Mhm.
good time to buy, but you need to talk to a professional. Again, a real estate agent is something that you need to talk about as well. Kind of get what your likes, your needs, your wants, and
For
go through
sure.
that. And so how they get a hold of you.
You can give us a call at 512-310-8080 or go to onairrealty.com or check out our QR code. And when you download it, we'll have the application for you to apply. You'll see Troy on it, you'll see us on it, and you can shop for homes. You can kind of just see what the market's doing or even play with the mortgage calculator. So there's a lot you can do on there.
And a lot of people are sitting back right now wanting to look or the rates come down. Why would they need to talk to a real estate agent now versus 90 days when they're ready?
So the reason why you want to talk to someone now is so you can be ready when it's time for you to go. Because if not, you're going to be waiting for the media to tell you, hey, it's time to buy a property, which means that everybody and their mom is going to be ready to buy a property. So if you're just thinking about, hey, I want to get the information so I can be ready, do it. It's much better to have that now than to wait.
So you're not annoyed if someone calls you and say, hey, I'm not in the market right now, kind of in 60 days, or when the interest rates, if they're going to go ahead and be honest, when the interest rates come down, that's when I want to pull the trigger. That doesn't annoy you.
Not at all.
Okay.
We encourage those phone calls. In our industry, I've been doing this forever. I'm third generation industry. And our business is helping others
Okay.
and being involved in the community. So I get calls sometimes where people are asking me about if they should purchase a car, how they can fix up their credit. I mean, you name it, I'll get phone calls, and that's totally fine. I encourage those because I wanna be your go-to person. I wanna make sure that I'm advising you in a way that I would advise myself, so that way you can be prepared when you're ready to, whether that's invest in your first home
Right.
or start getting investment property.
Plus, then you already know them, and so that house does come up or that time does come up, y'all don't have to communicate that part.
For sure.
Right.
And also, if they're trusting me to help them, they'll trust me to also help their friends and family. So if you know somebody that's looking, they're wanting to buy or sell, send them our way. We'll be happy to help them, interview with them. We're not going to stalk them or harass them in any way, but we want to be there to help them. So feel free to send them our way.
Well, when you said purchase a car, I saw Troy kind of shiver a little bit. Don't don't buy a car right before you try to buy a house,
No,
right?
please
Right?
don't. Don't
He's
buy
like
anything before you buy a house. But if you do
right,
buy something, you need to let us know
right.
versus waiting for it to hit your credit.
Well,
'Cause
right when you said that, he's like, "Oh, I
yeah,
can't, what do I
those,
say to that? What do I say to
yeah.
that?"
We will definitely find out if you bought a car during
Yeah.
the process.
How often does that happen?
More than we'd like to
10%,
admit, it
10%.
happens.
10%. So
Yeah.
you'll be in the middle of a loan, and somebody say, "Oh, I have to go. I'll be there in a little bit. I have to pick up my new car."
No, what'll happen is right before closing, we will refresh the credit report, and there will be a $1,000 car payment on there that wasn't there before.
And you're like, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not fun.
And tell people real quick why that's not good.
Well, hey, we tell you not to do certain things because it's going to mess up your debt to income ratio, which is more of a Troy thing. But I will tell you, don't get a car, don't get a boat, don't even go get appliances on credit. I want you to change nothing until you actually close on your home. Don't be late on anything. You just want everything to stay the same until after you get your house, and then you can go shopping.
Yeah, and one thing that's too about that as well is that because the times are what they are, there's a lot, the unemployment's up, jobs postings are down. There are some people that are taking advantage of other people out there right now.
Watch your money.
You need to be watching your money. The internet, which has made our industry so much faster, and we're able to adjust and get to more people and stuff like that. It's also made our consumers more susceptible to fraud and things like that. Title companies have
Oh.
big issues where
We
they're-
hadn't had
they're-
that, but I've heard of some
Mhm.
horror stories what they'll do, and just be careful. Obviously, when you're going to send a large amount of money, get in contact with that person that
Mhm.
whom you're sending the money to. Have them on the phone. Go
Verify.
verify that
Yeah.
wiring instruction before you go, because people are pretty smart. What they'll do is they'll mimic your website and then just add a letter or change a letter
Yes.
within the website, or the email, and then email you as though you're the closer or what have you, and say, "Hey, go ahead and send your closing or your money to this site." And
Yes.
so be careful about that.
It's
Always
better to
verify.
call and verify. No one will get annoyed. And if you have vacant property, make sure you're watching it. You're checking your address, making sure that it's
Mhm.
not listed somewhere.
Yeah, and just like I said, if those feelers go up, just reach out to the professional you're working with at that time because we know what we're doing.
And they
about
can
that.
always call you for that advice.
Absolutely. Hey, you've been listening and watching The Home Team with Troy and Wyatt. We hope you've enjoyed what you've seen and heard today. If you have any questions about anything, please reach out to me at loansfromtroy.com, or you can give me a call at 855-299-HOME. And as always, Wyatt's available on the Facebook. That's the Home Team 512. And this segment was brought to you by Security National Mortgage. We'll see you in just a minute.